started in the Kitchener Soccer League and then went into the Canadian Soccer League with Kitchener in London. Moved on from there to coach a little bit in the NCAA with Lemoyne College, and then ended up coaching at Laurier for, I think, 25 years now. Like, my aspiration was to try to play pro, and then there was a time where you just figured out, okay, that wasn't going to happen. And so I decided at that time that I just want to get into coaching. My recommendation to anybody was play as long as they can, because nothing beats playing.
And based on your coaching philosophy and what that type of thing, what do you look for in your players?
It's interesting, because what we're talking about with best athletes, we talk about this every day, is, evaluating players. And there's the 4 standard metrics of physical, technical, psychological, and tactical. My experience in the States with MLS and college before that is physical is put above all else there. There's a minimum standard at every level of play that you need to get to. And knowing what that standard is, I think players need to know what that standard is. And the only way you can do that is through some testing metrics. And those need to be standardized so you can figure out, if you're going to get to MLS, this is the standard. If you want to be in NCAA, this is the minimum standard. If you want to be in USports, this is the minimum standard. And for me, the psychological, that whole mental piece is absolutely paramount. And being able to take criticism, but using that positively, the perseverance when you have setbacks. I know from watching tens of thousands of soccer games now, the kids that were the most talented aren't the kids generally that actually made it to the pro level. Being able to understand the tactical components and implement those on demand on the field, that's critical. And
so can you talk to me a little bit about your coaching philosophy? And with your experience, it may have changed. So can you just kind of touch a little bit about that?
When you first start coaching, you learn how much you don't know. You've got every player thinks that they know everything. We should be doing this. This is the drill we should do, and this is how we should train. And until you're actually doing it and dealing with personalities, you don't realize how much you don't know.
So you said that you obviously coached with a lot of other coaches. You were coached by a lot of coaches. Was there any advice that you were given that sticks with you?
There was a famous coach that once said to me that you can't change players. They are what they are. You have to accept them as they are or get rid of them. So that was a little bit of an epiphany for me in dealing with players, because most coaches think if I just had that player with the bad attitude on the other team, if they played for me, we would make them special. Generally, that doesn't happen. They are what they are. And a lot of the mentality things, I think, are as wired as the physical things. So I think it's okay being selfish within the team concept. What I mean by that, like if you got an attacking player that has the ability to score goals and they're going to maybe try to score rather than pass, I have no problem with that within the team realm. But when they put themselves ahead of the goals of themselves, ahead of the team, there's a problem. And a lot of good players actually do that. People can share information and have access to more information, and where it's not, I know somebody and I'm not telling you who that is because it's an advantage to me. Your advantage as a coach is what you do with your players. If you are really good and you have a decent group of players, then that will be reflected on the field, not some piece of information that you have that they don't have. With best athletes, we're building out team summits to try to educate not just players, but parents and coaches and team administrators and presidents of clubs, just to see what is available and what does the landscape look like. So I think my advice that I would give to coaches is don't try to be somebody else, be yourself. So your personality should be reflected in how you coach. So if you are a big, strong, autocratic personality, it's no problem being that as a coach. But if you are a meek, mild-mannered person and then want to be a big, strong personality as a coach, the players know, and they're not stupid, and they will suss that out. And building your own culture around your own personality and what you want as a coach is critical. And if you can build a culture that is not toxic and it's positive and get everybody to buy into that and have the right people, I think you're going to be successful.